Welcome back to the exciting MMRA racing action from Riverview Speedway in Carthage, Tennessee. Riverview Speedway is located on the banks of the Cumberland River, and there was water everywhere this day. Water next to the track, and more often than not, water falling on the track. But that just meant we had a chance to take the rental car out with the street stock division to dry the track. I wonder if it was a good idea declining that extra rental insurance. By the time the open division got ready to take the green flag, there were more water problems as heavy fog moved in over Riverview Speedway, making it hard for our camera to see the drivers and for the drivers to see each other. As the field comes off of turn number 4 to complete lap number 1, they're 3 and 4 wide, dicing for position. But with moist air and cold tires, it's going to be tough to keep the car under you at Riverview tonight, as the number 29 of Lindsay Daniels is soon to find out. She's in the white car down on the inside. Let's watch this incident from another angle. Here's Lindsay coming into the corner on the inside of Chuck Tuck. The car comes around and she comes to rest in the middle of the racing groove. Everyone tries to avoid her, but Travis McCarty isn't able to in the 63 and impacts the 29, putting an end to both of their nights. This was a rough introduction to the open division for former future stars Lindsay and Travis, but fortunes were smiling on another former future star. CJ Tuck was leading the field to the green flag. Right behind him was the number 17 of Brian Arrington from Virginia, and then Chuck Tuck, his father, in third. Just a lap later, Chuck Tuck is receiving a strong challenge from Josh Burns on the high side in the number 31 car, who's trying to work his way toward the front of the field. This great racing continued into later in the race, when you could see that every position was very important in an MMRA Touring Series event. Momentum is so important at Riverview Speedway that nobody wanted to lift, even when they came up on slower cars. Two guys who were keeping their feet firmly planted on the floorboard no matter what were Josh Burns in the number 31, who had worked his way into the lead, and CJ Tuck in the 17, who is in hot pursuit. When the checkered flag came out, though, it was still Josh Burns out in front, picking up a victory in his first ever MMRA Touring Series race. With bad weather moving in, the track didn't want to do a Victory Lane interview with Josh, but I'm sure we'll have a chance to see him in Victory Lane again soon. Now let's take a look at the full finishing order from the Open Division feature race. Wow, what an incredible day of racing at Riverview Speedway. I've never seen so much rain and fog, but somehow we managed to get all the racing in. And that open division was exciting. Let's take a moment now, though, and we'll take a look at how Mini Cup cars and Baby Grand cars are constructed so you can see what's under those fiberglass bodies. This half-scale stock car has the fiberglass body removed so we can take a good look at the chassis. Starting up in the front of the car, you'll notice that we have a rack and pinion steering system and also a twin A-arm suspension that features adjustable A-arms so that drivers can quickly adjust their cars to track conditions. Just like a lot of full-size late-model stock cars, you'll also notice that we have a coil-over shock system with adjustable preload. The tires, of course, are slick racing tires made by Hoosier Tire Company. We have disc brakes front and rear. And there's more safety features if we look at the interior of the car. Inside, the driver's compartment of a Mini Cup car looks very much like any other race car. There's an aluminum racing seat featuring a 5-point restraint system. There's also full instrumentation. This Digitron unit will record tachometer functions and also engine temperature. In case the driver needs to get out of the car in a hurry, the steering wheel is also removable. Many drivers also use radios to communicate with their pit crew during the event. Of course, the most important safety component of this car is the roll cage. Designed to protect the driver, it's made of 083 tubing. But everybody wants to know what makes these cars so fast. Let's continue on to the rear of the car and we'll see why. Here in the rear of the car we see the most unusual aspect about Mini Cups, namely that the engine is in the back of the car. Mini Cups are powered by a Honda GX390 engine. It's an extremely durable power plant, often lasting a whole season before it needs any maintenance beyond a simple oil change. It's really made the sport inexpensive and simple for the novice racer to get started in. Delivering power to the rear axle is a Horseman Red Hawk clutch, a great new product Horseman developed just for Mini Cup racing. Completing the safety equation is a fuel-safe fuel cell at the rear of the car. Now let's take a look at the Baby Grand race cars used in the MMRA Pro division. Every real race car starts out with raw steel tubes and bars, and Baby Grands are no different, as you can see from this chassis that's still under construction at Baby Grands. And if you have a car as fast as a Baby Grand, it's comforting to know that you have the same 095 steel protecting you as you would in a full-size race car. Let's move on, though, to a completed roller chassis so we can see what a completed chassis looks like and also some of the performance and safety items on a completed Baby Grand race car. As we take a look at this completed Baby Grand roller chassis, we can see a lot of the features begin at the very end of the car. Here we have a strong steel tubular bumper with a significant crush zone, so in a minor impact the chassis will be preserved. As we move farther back on the car, however, we start to see some of the performance items, including an adjustable sway bar and also rack and pinion steering. For racers that are familiar with late model stock cars, this suspension system will look very familiar. It's an upper A-arm and lower control arm system. Strong, heavy-duty spindles, Baby Grands can take a lot of beating and banging and rubbing without destroying the front suspension. That's going to help save you money as you continue to race. And of course, on the four corners of the car, strong racing slick tires for high speeds in the corners. As we look at the interior of the car, however, you'll see that this is a very upscale race car. Let's take a look. The first thing you'll notice about a Baby Grand interior is how well finished all of the body panels are and how closely they fit together. This provides an additional level of safety, but it also means that a Baby Grand race car is always going to look first class at the racetrack. The driver's compartment of the Baby Grand features full autometer instrumentation, including oil pressure and temperature gauges, and often a memory tachometer. Over on the right side of the passenger compartment are the controls for the brake bias adjustment and also the fan switches to keep the engine cool. The rear of a Baby Grand race car includes more late model technology, as every car comes with a fuel-safe fuel cell and also a Winner's quick change rear end, which makes it easy to adapt a Baby Grand from one racetrack to the next quickly. Well, we hope you enjoyed learning more about what makes these cars so fast on the racetrack and why they're so well built. But we're almost out of time for this edition of MMRA Racing. Next week we'll be back to Riverview Speedway to see our Pro Division feature race. That's a real barn burner. And then we'll be moving on to our next stop, Anderson Speedway in Anderson, Indiana. Our future stars will take to that tough quarter-mile bull ring. It's going to be quite a show, and there'll be a lot of fans in the stands to see the action. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of MMRA Racing, and to learn more about MMRA and our racing programs, as well as our 2005 Touring Series schedule, be sure to visit our website, mmraracing.com. We'll see you next week.